Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Paxton Stiles, APTA staff member and your MC for this year's APTA Celebration of Diversity Virtual Gala to benefit APTA's Minority Scholarship Fund. We're coming to you live from Lockwood Lounge, also known as my basement bar, just outside of Washington, D.C. And first, I want to thank you all for joining us on this 28th annual event. And yes, we're doing everything a little bit differently this year. We are going to be streaming live through Zoom as well as APTA's Facebook page. So go to have two places to check us out. And we're doing this because we're counting on the idea that even though we're not together in the same room, you can still, we can still get that sense of excitement that comes from rallying around a common cause, a good common cause. So we've got a lot of great things planned for you the next 3 nights. So I hope you can join us not just tonight, but Friday and Saturday as well. The sessions will be informative, inspirational, and we're gonna have a little bit of fun. When it's all said and done, you'll probably walk out of here with a couple of cocktails for your seasonal drink repertoire. And so on Saturday, I'll be doing 2 drink recipes from here. One will be alcoholic, one will be non-alcoholic. So head over to the APTA website. At the top of the page, you'll see a banner with a link to the Celebration of Diversity Gala schedule. When you click on that, scroll down to Saturday and you'll see the ingredients you need for the drink recipes so you can join in. And then right after that, we are going to have a DJ so everyone can dance. The DJ is DJ Miss Her. I've experienced her quite a bit. She does a very good job. So stay tuned to the very end. So last year was my first time serving as the MC. I loved it. But even more than the thrill of that for me, what I really liked and what really got me going was the level of commitment and investment the gala attendees brought to the room. I know the energy is still there this year. That's why we're trying to pull it out right now. And you're doing something very important, something that's going to last, and it's going to have far-reaching effects, more than we ever know. Even if we're doing it separated by all these thousands of miles and all over the country. So thank you for all that you do. We're going to try to keep things moving every night. So without further ado, I'd like to turn things over to APTA's president, Sharon Dunn, for opening remarks. Sharon, welcome to tonight's first virtual gala.
Thank you, Paxton, and good evening, everyone. On behalf of our association and the board of directors, I want to welcome you to the 28th annual Celebration of Diversity and our first ever virtual gala. I'm hungry and there's no food here, and I'm sure you all feel my pain because usually there's good food at this event. Hopefully you've got something to snack on there at home. Times like this make the responsible distancing of our health crisis a bitter pill to swallow, because we gain so much energy and inspiration from each other. And oh, how I wish we could be together, not only for the food, but our in-person party when we are able to hug and see each other. But with that, bitter is better. By holding this event online, our celebration of diversity is more inclusive than ever. And for an event focused on improving diversity in our profession, that's fitting. Besides, this event has always been less about the people who participate in it and more about the people it supports. And with the reach of this virtual event, over the next 3 nights, so many of us have an opportunity to do something special for someone else. I hope we do. If you're new to the Celebration of Diversity, this event raises money for APTA's Minority Scholarship Fund, an initiative with a legacy of supporting and recognizing the academic excellence and career achievement of hundreds of students and faculty who are underrepresented minorities within our profession. The first event took place in 1993 in Chicago, Illinois. Since then, this fundraiser has helped to increase the scholarship fund balance to more than $1,193,000. Over the years, the Minority Scholarship Fund has awarded more than $1,059,000 to 253 physical therapists and physical therapist assistant students and 18 faculty members pursuing a doctoral degree. In 2020, the meaning of this event remains the same, even as our means of gathering has changed. But let's be honest, the virtual format of this gala isn't the only thing that's different about this year's celebration of diversity. To say that 2020 has been an unusual year goes way past an understatement. For our association and our profession, for our society and our country, this year has been as tumultuous as any I've ever experienced. A pandemic, a struggling economy, disrupted education, divisive politics, and a long overdue and yet still insufficient awakening to racial injustice and inequality in our country. That's a lot to take in, and some have had to endure far more than others. The result is that many of us share feelings of frustration, exhaustion, heartbreak, and maybe even hopelessness. I'm not here today with a cure for those emotions, but I can share the best way I know to manage chaos is by trying to put some good into the world. This event is symbolic of that idea. It's our chance to celebrate the progress that we've helped to achieve and to take a moment to acknowledge that we're contributing to needed change in our profession and society. And finally, to invest in the work we still need to do. This is a celebration of doing and enabling future progress. This gala and the scholarship fund it supports are about embracing the idea that now is the time to act. And when it comes to diversity in our profession and association, action is necessary. The status quo isn't good enough. APTA is making meaningful steps to accelerate our progress. We're establishing a standing committee on diversity, equity, and inclusion. We're hiring a staff position to lead our DEI efforts, picking up the torch carried for so long by Johnette Meadows, who retired earlier this year. We're making evidence-based recommendations to CAPTI to improve the representation of racial minorities in academic programs. We're expanding our pipeline program to connect with children at an early age to expose them to careers in physical therapy. We're also increasing our fundraising through 2-year Campaign for the Future Generations, which is creating a legacy gift in our centennial year to support DEI through the sale of naming rights in our new headquarters building, net proceeds from next year's APTA centennial events, and individual donations. Donations that you make over the next 3 days to support the Minority Scholarship Fund contribute toward that campaign. And if you donate at least $10, your name will be etched on the community wall in our new headquarters. Our mission calls on us to build community. And that's what this celebration of diversity has done since 1993. This year is no different. We have a lot of cool things planned for the next few days, great speakers, fun, and as Paxton said, even dancing. But the most important part of this event is what happens later. The lasting impact of the awards from our Minority Scholarship Fund. Impact made possible by you. This event has consistently been supported by our academic community, so I'd like to specifically thank the leadership and members of the American Council of Academic Physical Therapy and the APTA Academy of Education for their steadfast support and co-sponsorship of the Diversity Gala. In addition, I would like to thank everyone watching tonight who is committed to strengthening our association community, our members, our sponsors, and our staff. Working toward making this profession as diverse as the population it serves isn't just an aspirational goal, it's an existential goal. The fact is, our vitality and relevance as a healthcare profession depend on our ability to embrace differences, to welcome broad participation, and to ensure that all have an equal chance to contribute their unique perspectives. The celebration of diversity helps to accelerate change. Thank you for tuning in and lending your support. Thank you also for putting some good into our world. Now I'll turn it back over to you, Paxton, but I also challenge everyone to give a little. It goes a long way. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. And as you mentioned previously, this is a celebration, but we are here to do some work and raise some money. And to make sure that we don't lose sight of that, sight of that fact, here's a brief video reminder.
Receiving the 2020 Minority Faculty Development Scholarship Award meant the world to me. It showed me that the APTA believes in my potential to affect change and improve diversity in our profession. I've since completed my PhD in epidemiology and am now the program director at a developing program. And I'm just so excited to pay this forward and just show students who have not traditionally had that representation in academia and in PT education that they can achieve anything that they put their minds to. So thank you so much for your donation to the APTA Minority Scholarship Fund, and thank you for the APTA for believing in me.
All right, now, since this is a fundraiser, let's start off by checking out where we are on our donation thermometer. You saw that rolling at the beginning of the event. All right, so right now we are at 47,631. No, look at that, it's rolling up as we talk. We are trying to get to $100,000. I know we can do it, folks. We're gonna try to make this happen. So you see the scroll there with the names? To get your name on there, all you have to do is pick up your phone and in the recipient field, type in 41444, and then in the body of the text, type in APTA space, the amount you would like to donate, just the amount. We don't need dollar signs or decimal points, just the amount you want to donate and your name. You see an example there, APTA 75 John, or you can go to apta.org/COD donate. There are two D's in the middle of there, apta.org/COD donate. And as Sharon mentioned before, a $10 donation or more gets your name etched on the wall at the new APTA headquarters. So all the more reason to go ahead and donate. So let's get those in so we can see your names on the scroll there. All right, so having said all that, we know what this event is about in the broad context. But this year we're doing something a little different. Each night we're going to focus on shed a little light on different components that make the physical therapy profession as diverse as the patients served by PTs and PTAs. Tonight's theme is going to be on recruitment. How do we increase awareness and interest in the profession of minority students? Tomorrow, we're going to focus on fundraising, and on Saturday, pipeline initiatives and efforts on a component level. All right, so let's keep it moving here. We're excited about tonight's keynote speaker, so I'll turn it over to Michael Loughran from our event sponsor, HPSO, to make the introduction. Michael?
Good evening. I'm Mike Loughran, President of Healthcare Provider Service Organization, also known as HPSO. HPSO has been protecting physical therapists and physical therapist practices since 1992 and has been a proud partner of the APTA for almost 30 years. HPSO could not be more thrilled to be supporting the APTA celebration of diversity. Recognizing, valuing, encouraging, and welcoming diversity is essential and brings with it many benefits for our communities, schools, and workplace. At HPSO, we are committed to supporting one another, appreciating each other's strengths, and embracing multiple perspectives. It's about creating an environment where each and every colleague is at their very best and can bring their best to our clients, to you. With that as a backdrop, I would now like to introduce to you Kai Kennedy, physical therapist with a Doctor of Physical Therapy degree who will present the keynote titled The Middle of the Movement. Kai serves as Associate Professor and Vice Chair of Equity in the Department of Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation Science at the University of California, San Francisco. She has extensive experience addressing issues of health equity through the lens of functional movement. And now, everyone, we present Kai Kennedy.
Good evening. My name is Kai Kennedy, and it is my distinct honor and a privilege to be with you this evening on the final day of Hispanic Heritage Month for the American Physical Therapy Association's annual celebration of diversity. This year, we are coming together in a new format to connect, cope, create, and celebrate in innovative ways. Much has changed in our world since the last time we gathered for this event. We are enduring a global pandemic. We are learning how to navigate uncertainty and ambiguity. We are adjusting to new norms, keeping our distance, wearing our masks, and working and learning remotely. Many of us have been upended by the sudden and drastic changes to our routines and traditions. Some of us continue to cope with fear or loss or isolation. We are also in the middle of a racial reckoning in this country and around the world. People of all creeds, across ages, sexual and gender identities, and nations have come together to say, in one voice, that racial injustice will not be tolerated, that we will not stand idly by, that not only do we demand action, but we commit to it ourselves. Despite the innumerable challenges we are all facing, we are also using these novel circumstances as an opportunity to shift our focus, to connect with the people around us, and to reimagine our futures. In physical therapy, we have the opportunity to take stock of our own practices, to recognize and celebrate our many successes, and to address any shortcomings we find along the way. Our successes are plenty. We have sustained this effort, the APTA Minority Scholarship, for students and for faculty for more than 3 decades. We have raised more than $1 million for scholarship support for student physical therapists, student physical therapist assistants, and faculty pursuing advanced degrees. With the APTA Minority Scholarship Program, we have recognized the contributions and potential of more than 270 leaders in our profession. Tonight is an opportunity to celebrate this change work, to recognize the commitment of our awardees, and to inspire us all to keep the momentum going. Our work is not done. We are in the middle of the movement. While the COVID-19 pandemic has underscored our commonalities as human beings, it has also illuminated the dark realities of disparities driven by our systems. Disparities can be found across sectors, including healthcare, education, and the economy. COVID-19, like many other diseases, has had a disproportionate health impact on Black, Indigenous, and people of color in the United States. The economic impact of COVID-19 has disproportionately impacted women who bear disproportionate responsibility for childcare, elder care, and caregiving. And despite all of our progress toward increasing diversity in our profession, Black men continue to be underrepresented in our physical therapist training programs nationally. We can do better. We must. Let's be reminded that by definition, disparities are the avoidable differences between groups in terms of opportunity, power, or outcome. Dismantling the drivers of disparity is a responsibility we all bear. We all can be leaders in our circles of influence, and every contribution is needed. Marshall Ganz, longtime activist and scholar at the Kennedy School of Government at Harvard, defines leadership in this way. Leadership is accepting responsibility for enabling others to achieve shared purpose in the face of uncertainty. His definition suggests that our first actionable step is accepting responsibility, to be the change, to embody it. And that's what so many of our awardees are doing. But what if we gave awards for everyone exhibiting leadership in this space? What if we could recognize all of the people who paved the way? What if there was an award for the person who introduced each student to the profession of physical therapy? Or for the people who let them shadow in their clinic? Or what about the admissions officers who answered their every question along the way? What if there was an award for the advisor who supports each student through a crisis that no one else understands? Or for the CI who encourages students to lean into learning? Or for the patient who teaches them the difference between theory and practice? Opening the doors to our profession is no small task. It takes a village. When I think about my own professional journey, the list of folks who opened doors for me runs long. It includes, of course, my family, who raised me up with the understanding that education was not only possible, but expected. Both of my grandmothers, Black women from the American South, went on to earn advanced degrees, one in healthcare and one in education. They walked the talk. They opened the doors, and they held those doors open for me. I think about the trainer for my high school basketball team, who noticed my curiosity in the rehabilitation process. He let me observe his work. He encouraged my questions, gave me old textbooks. He opened a door for me. During my college days, where a conversation about my fascination with human movement and its impact on human function resulted in a scholarship to study at my dream school. And there, I found an open door. And I will never forget the feeling that I felt when I received a phone call from Dr. Cheryl Ford Smith, congratulating me on my admissions offer. In addition to the exciting news of getting into PT school, her call let me know there was someone there in my corner, that I had done enough, that I was enough. Turns out there were lots of people in my corner and another open door. Over the years, this profession and many people in it have continued to open doors, to offer opportunities, and to stand in support of my contributions in this field. I'm sure many of you feel the same. Perhaps you're thinking of that clinician who provided care during your own recovery, or the educator who introduced you to the specialty that became your passion, or the mentor who encouraged you to level up your goals, or the friend who reminded you that you weren't alone. The APTA Minority Scholarship is just one way to honor the legacies of folks like Linda Woodruff and Johnette Meadows, and many others who have dedicated their career to this work. Today, I am a physical therapist, and I study how humans use movement to function, to live, and to thrive. And as I continue to evolve, I understand more deeply that the beauty of movement is in its diversity, that each body is different, and therefore each movement is different. This is a special moment for me tonight, to be together with all of you in this way and for this purpose. You see, I think good leadership is personal. Each of us has the opportunity as a leader to take what is personal to you, your values and motivations, your talents and skills, your faculties and resources, and lend them to something greater than yourself. Your charge as a leader, if we are to use Gantz's definition, is first to identify your community. He says that the organizer's first question is not, what is our problem, but rather, who are my people? Connectedness is enough to get you started. And tonight, we are here together to celebrate the history, the potential, and the power of this moment, to come together and to do what is right and what is necessary. At least that's the charge that I felt tonight, with the huge privilege of your time and attention. And I suppose that it was my hope that in you, I would find my people. These are unprecedented times, to be sure. And while so much progress to celebrate, we still have far to go. This is the middle of the journey. If each of us can do our part to open the doors and to foster a truly inclusive community, together we will advance our profession. This is the middle of the movement. Let's move forward together. Thank you.
Believe it or not, 2020 is almost over. Even though we've been tied to our computers, it's felt harder than ever to keep up with what's going on. So get out your calendars, because here are a few important dates coming up. October 17th, that's the last night of our 3-day celebration of diversity to raise money for the Minority Scholarship Fund. If you donate at least $10, your name will be included on the community wall in our new national headquarters, opening next year. It's a little money for a big impact. November 4th through 8th. That's when we'll hold live virtual programming for APTA's National Student Conclave. APTA student members who register for the virtual event will save 50% on their registration for APTA's Combined Sections meeting, coming to you virtually in February 2021. So spread the word. January 1st. It won't be a happy new year for our profession and patients if CMS goes ahead with the proposed payment cuts. The time to act is now, and there are lots of ways to do it. This critical advocacy effort isn't limited to members or even our profession. Get your family and friends involved, because every voice counts, but only if you use it. January 15th. Okay, this will be cool. January 15th is APTA's Founders Day, our association's 100th birthday. Our association began with a meeting of trailblazing women at a New York steakhouse and has grown to a thriving national community representing more than 100,000 PTs, PTAs, and students. We've got lots of great things planned for our centennial year, and this is just the beginning. February 1st through 28th. The month of February will be a showcase for APTA's Combined Sections meeting, which will be virtual in 2021, but as exciting as ever. Hundreds of sessions and posters, thousands of participants, tons of knowledge to advance your career. We can't wait to see you there in our centennial year. If you missed any of these dates, you can find them at apta.org. Thank you for your support, commitment, and participation. Thank you for being the community that is APTA.
All right, thank you so much, Kai. That really helps put things into perspective. Right now, we are going to connect a few dots here, from a young person's interest in becoming a PT or PTA to being able to realize that dream with the help of our Minority Scholarship Fund. We wanted you to hear directly from current and past recipients to hear how your efforts have helped shape lives. And to get everything started, I'm going to turn this over to Carmen Elliott, APTA Vice President of Payment and Practice Management. Good evening, Carmen.
Thank you, Paxton. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the APTA Minority Scholarship Recipients Panel Discussion. I am Carmen Elliott, APTA staff, and your moderator for this panel. We are excited about our esteemed panelists for the evening, and we can't wait to hear from them as they talk about their journey to leadership. For background, the Minority Scholarship Award recognizes minority physical therapy students and physical therapist assistant students currently in their final year of their program. And the award also recognizes minority faculty members who are pursuing post-professional doctoral degrees for their professional character and academic excellence. As mentioned before, since its inception in 1988, 253 PT, PTA students, and 18 faculty members have received the Minority Scholarship Award for a total of 271 recipients. And we are happy, we're thrilled to have 6 of those recipients joining us this evening. So let's welcome our panelists. Our newest award recipients are Rachel Herron, Mercedes Aguirre, and Gabby Blanchett. Welcome, Rachel, Mercedes, and Gabby. Our past award recipients are Abdul Banafa, Kim Nixon Cave, and Ladarius Woods. Welcome, Abdul, Kim, and Ladarius. So Kim, let's start with you. And we're gonna do this round robin style. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and when you were awarded the Minority Scholarship Fund.
Sure, thanks, Carmen. My name's Kim Nixon Cave, and I am a professor at Thomas Jefferson University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In that position, I'm program director for the entry-level program, executive program director for post-professional and continuing education, meaning physical therapy residency, OT fellowships, and continuing education programs. I'm a board certified pediatric clinical specialist. And in 2018, I was named as a fellow of Apta of the American Physical Therapy Association. I received the Minority Faculty Scholarship Award when I was pursuing my PhD in education. And as a matter of fact, I was the first recipient of the faculty award. And I received the award as I was finishing in the final phases of my dissertation collecting data. So it's a pleasure to be here.
Great, thanks, Kim. So you're number one of our 18 faculty that we have here. Wonderful. Abdul, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Abdul Banafa. I am a new grad physical therapist. Feels a little weird saying that now. New grad physical therapist from Mount St. Mary's University in Los Angeles. And I'm actually a current sports resident at Los Gatos Sports and Orthopedics in Los Gatos, California. And I was actually awarded the Minority Scholarship. I believe it was around April time in my third year of PT school. So it was just after we kind of got wrapped up with our pro bono clinic in Los Angeles, where we do some free work for the homeless population down there. So it was kind of perfect timing when I got that call. So glad to be here.
Great, thanks, Abdul. Ladarius, same question for you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and when you were awarded the Minority Scholarship.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here in the presence of everybody. But my name is Ladarius Woods, and I'm currently an assistant professor at Alabama State University here in Montgomery, Alabama. And I've been there for about 3 years now. So I'm actually kind of unique, and I got a chance to double dip. So in 2014, I actually got the student scholarship, and then in 2019, so last year, I got the faculty development one. So I'm kind of unique in that position there.
Great, that's awesome. So let's move to our new recipients. Rachel, let's start with you. Are you there, Rachel? Okay, Mercedes, let's go to you until we're able to connect with Rachel. Tell us about yourself and when you were awarded this scholarship.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mercedes. I graduated from Rutgers North in New Jersey, and I was awarded this scholarship in my third year of PT school in the year 2020. Right now, I'm working as a school physical therapist and early intervention as well. And I'm so happy to be here with all the panelists today.
Awesome. We're happy to have you. Gabby, can you tell us about yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Gabby Blanchett, and I got my doctorate in physical therapy this past May from the University of Southern California. And I was awarded this scholarship this past May in my final semester of school. And right now I'm working as a travel physical therapist. So thank you.
Great. So excited to have you. And do we have Rachel back on the line?
Can you hear me now, Carmen?
There you are, Rachel. Yes, we can.
Yay. Thanks for the patience with the technical difficulties. Hi, everyone. Super excited to be here. My name's Rachel Herron, and I'm a 2020 Doctor of Physical Therapy graduate from Pacific University, which is in Oregon. I live near Tacoma, Washington now. I'm back in my home state, and I'm an outpatient ortho PT in the process of becoming a pelvic health therapist as well. And while I was at Pacific, I served as class president and co-founded our program's first ever student-led diversity group. And since graduation, I've been enjoying working with the APTA Washington chapter and also the National Association of Black PTs doing a mentorship project. And I could tell you exactly where I was when I got the news I got this award. I was in a basement apartment in Seattle on my final clinical rotation and like dodging spiders in the basement apartment. And I got the voicemail, and it was just really the best news right when the pandemic started. And I jumped up and down. I just feel really blessed to be here and have received this award.
Great. That's awesome, Rachel. So we're going to stay with you just for one moment. So we heard your story of how you actually received the call about receiving the Minority Scholarship Award. But how did you hear about the scholarship in general, and what really prompted you to apply?
Yeah. Okay. So I was late to the game. I applied around like end of November, early December, and so what happened was I got one of those emails that we all get, from federal student loans saying like, here's your quarterly update. This is your student loans. And quite frankly, I had to take a lot of deep breaths, and I thought, oh my gosh, I need to start Googling some scholarships right now because, I'm trying to problem solve. And I came across this scholarship, and I was really fortunate that I had some awesome mentors who were kind enough to write me some letters of recommendation in a very short period of time. Thank you again, Talina, Dr. Ballard, and Dr. Liu. But the reason I applied for this scholarship is because I just wanted to really celebrate my resiliency and everything I've overcome in my life thus far. And in particular, I wanted to celebrate the chapter of my life that was PT school, because that's when I really found my voice and I started using it. And I really, with some great support systems around me, was able to take advantage of leadership opportunities I had to get more involved in my community and start affecting change and advocating for myself and my peers and my patients. And ever since then, the more, I guess this award, it just made me fondly look at just all these crazy intersections between race, mental health, and physical health, and everything we do as PTs and PTAs to strive to optimize movement. And lastly, I'll just add, Carmen, that I want to apply to this because the essay prompt, I felt like I just got to write a journal entry. I felt that I didn't have to pull any punches for the first time in my life writing about the issue of systemic racism. I just got to say, listen, this is what I think. These are some problems I think we have. This is what I've been doing, and this is what I'm proud of, and this is what I think we can keep doing together, and this is why I think we have hope.
Yeah. That's great. I think what I heard you say there is about finding your voice, and through your essay submission, obviously you utilize that voice in your submission there. That's awesome. Mercedes, tell us a bit, how did you hear about the scholarship and what really prompted you to apply?
Well, I heard about this scholarship around my first year of PT school. I was looking around the APTA website because just like Rachel said, like I was worried about student loans. So I was worried about like, how I'm gonna find something so I don't have so many at the end. But I was really fortunate enough for my program, Rutgers, to nominate me to receive this scholarship. And they really helped me throughout that process. I know, I remember talking to Abdul the other night that not many programs really advertise this scholarship, which is so important for students to know about. So I'm really fortunate that my program supported me throughout the whole process.
Great, great. So speaking of Abdul, I have a question for you. So where were you in your physical therapy career when you decided to apply for the scholarship?
So similar to what the others were saying, it was just me just kind of thinking about what's the best way I can spend my spare time in PT school. And I was thankful that I was similar to the class president of other classes. So I put together a lot of volunteering things and things like that. And I remember one day I was sitting in my professor's office, Dr. Alan Lee, and then I looked over his shoulder and he had this certificate. He had won it in a previous year. And then I looked at it, I said, why would a professor need to win a scholarship? I was like, what is that scholarship? And then he started telling me all about it. And then he just kind of looked back at it and was like, Abdul, you need to apply. And then it just was like a spiral. I think August is when I was reading about it and like seriously considering. And I think I was a little bit earlier than Rachel. I think I had everything done by like the end of August, and I was emailing to submit everything early, and they told me to just wait until the application's open. But it really was one of my professors that had, I don't know, the stars aligned that day where I was just looking around in his huge office, and then I just saw that, and that really prompted me to look into it and look into other awards that the APTA offers, which was awesome because I won the Societal Impact Award that same year, which was a really good experience too.
Great. So that's awesome, Abdul. That's a great story hearing about Dr. Alan Lee. I'm sure he was very impactful in your career, and he's a great member of APTA. Ladarius, so you mentioned earlier that you're a dual recipient, which is probably the only one of this panelists who actually received the award twice. Tell us a little bit about where you were in your physical therapy career both times when you decided to apply for the scholarship.
Yeah, so actually my story is very similar to Abdul's in the fact that I had a faculty member, Dr. Julian McGee, and he won it maybe about 5 or 6 years before I did. And he actually told me about it like my first year in PT school. So I was actually preparing like semester 2 in PT school, trying to build my resume up, trying to get some volunteer hours, trying to get good grades. So I was like preparing way before time. But similar to Abdul, like when that application hit, I knew it. I started everything. I had my letters of recommendation, sent it off, and I was actually very, very excited. And what was really unique at that time is I had 3 other classmates apply. And I don't know if this has ever happened before, but all 4 of us from the same school got it that year. And we had some really unique stories because I got it first, and then somebody else got it. And then another person got it like a month ago. And then our 4th guy, it took him, I think he didn't get it till like a month, like somewhere in like May, June-ish. So he was feeling some type of way, like he wasn't talking to us or anything like that. But then when he finally got that call, he like perked up and he started talking back to us again. So I thought that was a real unique and funny story. So hopefully if he's watching this, he knows I'm talking about him and he donates. But shifting to when I was a faculty member, so similar to the past, I just had some people pour into me and just tell me about this award. So one person who actually won it the same year that I won it is Jeremy Hauser. So he poured into me and told me, hey, LD, you need to apply for it. And Stephen Chesbrough was another person that poured into me and said, hey, LD, you really need to apply for it. So those 2, they just kind of poured into me. And actually where Kim was when she received it is where I was. I had finished all my didactic work and I was just in the process of kind of submitting my RB and kind of getting it approved. So it was just a godsend that I no longer had to pay for that PhD out of my pocket. I could leverage all of these amazing people that's donating tonight. I could leverage you to kind of help build that. So I was so excited. But yeah, that's me.
That's great, Ladarius. That's great to hear how you had those mentors before you, and you being the first recipient there at your school. Sound like you were able to mentor others there as well. Great story. So Kim, I'm gonna get you in here. How did receiving the award influence your pathway to APTA leadership opportunities?
So the award really gave me the opportunity to get involved from the support and the recognition from the award, both internal and external to the APTA. I think being able to get to achieve getting the PhD, but also seeking out opportunities that were presented to me because of being a recipient of the award at APTA. So I've had the pleasure and the opportunity to be very involved in APTA in a number of leadership positions, from the APPTS Specialist Board, Residency and Fellowship, Pediatrics. So it really opened up a lot of doors for me, and also outside. Being recognized as a Black female with a PhD, that kind of gets some attention, especially in physical therapy, but given opportunities to be in local and leadership positions, and to engage with others in that space. So it really helped me to become a leader, and helped me to be comfortable in taking on those challenges and those opportunities that came along with that. So it really had a significant and positive impact on my path to leadership. And by pursuing the PhD and achieving that, I was able to take on more leadership roles in the world of education. As we know, that's necessary to be in certain positions in the PT world, but it also put me in a place where I could be seen as a role model and be seen by other individuals interested in PT, and underrepresented, Black, minority, and people of color could see me. So it put me in that place and in that space. Also from a clinical perspective too, gave me opportunity to be in leadership positions as well by having that PhD, being invited in to do research in clinical environments. And again, standing out as that Black female with a PhD and in PT. So it gave me a lot of opportunities to be a leader.
Great. That's good to hear, Kim. And it sounds like you still have a lot more in you. So I'm expecting you to continue your
Remember,
path
I was
of
the
leadership.
first.
Great. Rachel.
These other ones take over a little bit.
Well, with that said, let's go to Rachel. Rachel, how did receiving the award influence your pathway to pursue APTA leadership?
Yes, I'd love to answer that, Carmen. Also, just got to say, Kim, you're super cool. I've now gotten to hear you speak at a few different Zoom things last couple months, and every time, just you're very awesome. But Carmen, question. So, yeah, receiving this award, to me, the best way I could describe it is I felt like it felt like a voice from my community that was telling me just keep going, and it was so validating and affirming. And again, I'll use the celebration word again, because I think there's a lot of power in that of, so often we can look at all this stuff we have to overcome, and we can look at it from this lens of, man, this is like these battles I keep having, and these struggles and these adversities because of my identity, yada, yada, yada. And instead I was like, wow, like this is being recognized, and other people think this is great. And you know what? I think this is pretty great too. And I feel more confident now. I feel proud of myself. And it just gives me more courage to keep using whatever platform I have, and seeing that platform as a privilege that I have, especially as a light-skinned Black woman, and to really utilize that to the best of my ability, and just to follow that calling. And then I've also just always enjoyed leadership opportunities, you know, back in my soccer days too. And now I just feel it's just such a fantastic way to be a physical therapist, be that clinician, but also to affect some much needed community change. And the more I do it, the more I feel that I'm in community, the more I feel inspired by others. And I think in particular, working with the APTA and the platform that the APTA has is such a cool way to get, you know, uniform information across our entire nation. And in the process of doing that, I find myself being healed on a personal level. And I also find that, you know, I feel just strength in discovering people in so many different states, especially now with this kind of silver lining of a lot of stuff being done virtually, and in connecting with people and realizing that we all have more in common than I used to think we did.
Yeah. It's about building that community, right? I think that's what I'm hearing you say. And we heard it in Kai's keynote, but just finding your people. That's great. Mercedes, I'm going to go to you for a moment. So after receiving the scholarship, what are your career plans? What do you plan to do? Obviously in the field of physical therapy, but what are your career goals?
Right. So I definitely still really want to be involved in the APTA. I plan to give back to the scholarship and also give back to my community. I feel like it's important for people who are successful to become mentors and to kind of lift people up and help them reach their dreams too. So, you know, I plan on going back to my high school, to my undergrad, be like, hey guys, this is my career, is physical therapy. And, you know, you guys should do this too, because it's a great career to be in. I also plan to continue to advocate for my profession. I recently started a new blog and an Instagram page called the PT Advocate, in which I help to educate physical therapists on how to advocate for their field, their patients. So yeah, that's really part of my plans in my career, hopefully to specialize in pediatrics as well, a field that I'm really passionate about, and to continue to network with physical therapists, the ones that I'm talking with here today, and continue to learn from others.
Great, great. That sounds awesome. We're going to have to get you involved with our student recruitment efforts. Right. So Mercedes, I'm going to stay with you just for another minute here. What advice would you share with other PTAs or PTs looking into scholarship opportunities, and what advice would you give them to pursue their career pathways?
I feel like a lot of us new grads can relate that PT school really consumes our time. I feel like all I did for 3 years was study and go to school. So a lot of students are like, oh, I don't want to be part in this volunteer position. I don't want to be a leader because it's going to take up too much of my time. But what I did is, like, whenever I got an email from a professor, hey, I need a volunteer for a scoliosis screening. Hey, there's this leadership opportunity available. I just said yes to everything. So take it with a grain of salt. Obviously, you know, everyone has different lifestyles and responsibilities, but be open to the opportunities outside of the clinic, outside of the classroom, because there really is so much more to your physical therapy program than just becoming a clinician. You're going to become a professional in various ways, in leadership. You're going to develop in your professional development, education. So yeah, just be open to opportunities. You never know what you're really going to like.
That's great. Great advice. So for Gabby, what advice would you give to other students seeking this scholarship opportunity?
I think the advice I would give is just to, when you're applying for this, you should definitely apply. That's the biggest thing that you need to do, is just apply. And to be able to showcase your passions and your interests and how that ties into your career path. Because for me, it was just that mostly in the clinic, I work with older adults, but my passion for service lies with the youth, and that's low income minority and homeless youth. So I was able to work across the lifespan and really feel like I've been giving back to my community through that. And I think that You hear from a lot of us that we have held leadership positions in school, but leadership comes in so many different forms. Like Kai was saying, that, you know, just your ability to advocate for the profession, just your ability to go out and say, hey, I want to give back to my community and be this person that people who look like me can see, and see that there is another medical profession in higher education that I can go out and achieve just like this person. So just being able to put yourself out there and say, hey, this is something I'm going for, and you could do that too, because at one point I was in your shoes, you know? And I think that the biggest thing is just really showcasing how passionate you are just for your community. And I think all of us here are passionate about healthcare, obviously, but there are so many different avenues, like Mercedes was saying, that you can really just go out and go forth and show that you're a leader, and you've been doing well in school as well.
Great, great. I really like when you said just going out there and seeing someone who looked like you, right? I mean, that makes a difference in pursuing those leadership opportunities. So I'm going to squeeze in one more question here, and then we'll do our round robin conclusion here. So Abdul, this is for you. How has APTA helped you throughout your career?
So I've been very, very fortunate, and I think it wasn't due to really anything other than what kind of everyone is saying here. I just asked. So I've been fortunate enough to go to so many conferences on the, I mean, being a broke student, like on the dime of other people, because I just put in the effort, or I asked to volunteer, asked to pick up tables after, asked to clean up, but I got to go out there and go do those things. And all that was through people involved in the APTA, people sponsoring me through the APTA. So for me, it was a lot bigger than just a scholarship. It was just building that network with so many different people. And then within that network, because I'm a sports resident, one of the big reasons why I chose to kind of go this route was I was involved in a orthopedic mentorship program. So I was in the orthopedic section, and that shifted completely the kind of trajectory of my career. And I got introduced to so many amazing people who you'd be really surprised are so open to having people talk to them. And when I do, I'm just like, where do you find the time to talk to me? Like, I'm just some random student in LA, and they're just like, nobody asks. It's kind of like what you guys were saying, where it was all these people that have achieved these great things. All they want to do is give back. And if you put in a little bit of effort, they will give back. So now I've been more involved in the sports section as well. So I'm kind of helping out on one of the committees over there. And then just generally, a lot of the people and a lot of the opportunities that have been afforded for me throughout my short career so far is honestly through just reaching out to people through the APTA. So one thing I do want to say is, for the students now that are going to graduate soon, or new grads now who feel like maybe the APTA, the membership price is too much or whatever, because I remember those conversations happen towards the end of school. Renew your membership, because the opportunities that come out of that few $100s or whatever it is per year, I guarantee you will meet and learn so many things from so many people that is worth more. I mean, you can't even put a price on it. How much more it's worth to just cough up that few $100s and meet the people that will kind of help you and promote you and push you and guide you and mentor you and whatever you can think of in your career. So that's kind of just the last piece I wanted to throw in there.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Abdul. Really appreciate that. Yeah, membership is key, and maximizing those opportunities.
100%.
So in closing, guys, so we are going to do a lightning round section here. So just in one sentence, maybe two, if you squeeze it out quickly, what parting words of wisdom or inspirational message would you like for the audience to hear on tonight? So I'm going to start alphabetically. So Abdul, right back at you. What are your parting words for tonight?
So my life motto is the worst that'll happen is they'll say no. So if there's anything on your mind or anything you want to ask or any advice you want from someone, just ask. The worst thing that'll happen is they'll say no.
Great advice. Gabby, how about you?
Okay, I think my advice would just be to continue to pursue your passions, everyone. And then for current students, recognize that even though financially you might not be able to contribute to your community, the biggest currency that you have right now as a student is your time. So just being able to give that to your community is the biggest thing I think I would say to do. Yeah. Thank you.
Kim, you up next.
Yes, so I would say my parting words are looking at these young, new professionals is that, you know, look at the next level. You're the leaders in the future. And, you know, for the faculty award, I think it's important that we get more Black professionals or Black leaders and with PhDs in physical therapy. It's really important because right now, we're working hard on the student end of it, but we really need to increase the diversity of the faculty. And just one thing that really has helped me, even before I got the award, was my first experience at Temple University in my first class, where a Black female came up orientation. I was very nervous and concerned about being in the program, whether she could succeed. And what she said to me at the end is that I know I can do it now because I see you. And that's really important for us to have those role models in those leadership positions. So I employ, students, you guys, to be those, move to that next level, get that PhD, and be that role model for the next generation.
Great, thanks, Kim. That's great. I think you gave about 10 sentences, but we're going to give you a pass because
I'm number one. I was the first one.
You were number one, that's right. Those were true words of wisdom. Ladarius.
So just kind of shifting gears a little bit, I want to say that your donations have an impact. Whether you believe they do or not, I'm telling you, they do have an impact. Coming from someone who received it as a student and actually did what Kim was just speaking about, went and got a further education to go and get that PhD. So your donations really do have an impact.
Great, thanks so much, Ladarius. And that's why we're on this panel tonight. Thank you so much. And having this particular gala is to make a difference. Mercedes.
I just want to share that when I was in undergrad, I had a professor tell me that I wasn't going to get into PT school because I was an immigrant. So I want to thank the APTA for supporting people like me. And if you're a minority, you are valuable and the APTA supports you.
Great. Great. Thank you, Mercedes. Strong words there. And Rachel.
Wow. I just want to share that, like everyone has said, this scholarship and things that folks donate is not just life-changing, but they're life-saving. My first year at PT school was the first time I saw a Black professor preaching and the first Black mentor outside of my family, and I sat in the front row of that class and I cried and I tried to cover my tears from all my classmates because I didn't really want anyone to see it, and I was so overwhelmed by this feeling of simultaneous grief and amazement and gratitude of seeing myself reflected in a mentor. And I just want to thank everyone for what you're doing to make more folks like me in our communities get to experience that, because I can tell you that it really did impact me, not just, in my profession, but it impacted my mental health and my healing and my ability to overcome my own internalized oppression. So I just want to thank you for that.
Great. Well, thank you all. Thank you, panelists. Awesome words. Thank you for being available. And we thank you all for listening and for donating to the Minority Scholarship Fund. And turn it back over to Paxton.
Thank you, Carmen. And thank you to our panelists. Those were some great stories. I loved listening to all that. But we are not done yet. There was one panelist who was unable to attend, so we do have a quick video to share with you. If we have that ready, please go ahead and roll it.
Hello, my name is Alecia Borderman. I graduated from the University of Miami, and I am honored to be one of the recipients of the APTA Minority Scholarship Awards. To me, this scholarship represents generations of hard work, sacrifice, and dedication to overcome barriers of all shapes and sizes. Barriers like moving to a new country and learning a new language. Sacrifices like working part-time in addition to attending school full-time since I was 14 years old. The path to where I am today has taught me hard but important lessons. It has shown me that we are not simply placed on this earth to see how important we can become or how much we can achieve, but to make a difference in the lives of others. I feel honored, valued, and encouraged. In times when the sky feels like it is falling, this award further encourages me to strive to serve and represent minority populations in this country. In this tough season, it has given my family and I peace of mind. This scholarship has been a blessing, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for donating to the APTA Minority Scholarship Fund to help students like me achieve their dreams.
All right, thank you. See, that is exactly why we are here, and I'm so glad we all got to hear those good words. We say this over and over again, and we can't say it enough. You are making a difference, both in the lives of individual PTs and PTAs, and just in the whole profession as a whole. All right, we are getting close to the end of our event, but I wanted to talk about a couple of things before I go. First, we are still doing the silent auction. Please go ahead and check that out. You can go to get that from the apta.org page. And if you go up to the top of the apta.org page, you will see a link to the Celebration of Diversity Gala. When you click on that link, go down to the silent auction, and you'll see all the cool stuff we got there. There's APTA gear, training courses, certificates, tickets to sporting events, PT equipment, artwork, scarves, and you might even get a whitewater rafting experience and an iPad Pro. And so that's a lot of cool stuff there. I would highly recommend checking it out. And we do want to thank everyone who donated those items, because all of those items that are being auctioned off will help benefit the Minority Scholarship Fund. So thank you for all of that. And finally, don't forget to come back tomorrow night. We're going to have a good time with some trivia, but we also are going to focus on fundraising with another special speaker. Now, the trivia night, we're going to have a Family Feud style game with Team Lucy Blair and Team Mary McMillan in a Family Feud style. I will be your host for that as well. It's going to be a fun time. And then after that, we'll have trivia where the attendees, you all, will be able to participate and possibly win some cool prizes. Jenny Blodgett, APTA's librarian, who has a wealth of knowledge about APTA history, is going to give a presentation. And I highly recommend checking that out, because there's going to be some cool stuff there, and you might win some cool prizes. All right, one last thing before we say goodbye. Let's check out that thermometer to see where we are right now. Look at that, wow, 52,276. That is, we made quite a bit of a jump. Thank you, everyone. Again, if you want to get your name on the scroll there or the APTA wall, just pick up your phone in the recipient field, type in 41444, and then in the message, type APTA space the amount you want to put, no decimal points and no dollar signs, and then your name. And then and $10 or more will get you on the wall. Please go ahead and check that out. We'd love to see that. All right. Once again, thank you all so much for tonight. Let's keep the celebration going, and we will see you all tomorrow. Good night, everyone.